Stop celebrating the raise headline until you see one tiny line on your own benefit statement, because the amount people are expecting and the amount they actually keep can be two very different numbers. In the next few minutes, you'll know exactly how to spot your real increase and what could quietly shave it down. This affects retirees, disability recipients, survivors, and anyone planning to file soon, and timing matters. Hit subscribe now so you stay protected and a step ahead of the next change, not surprised by it. I'll keep you updated in a way that helps you verify what's real and ignore what's noise. If your check is part of your monthly survival plan, this channel is your early warning system. Want that advantage going forward? Take a breath, because I'm not here to hype you up and then leave you confused. I'm here to walk with you step by step until you can point to the exact reason your payment moved. And in the first part, we're going to cover what's at risk, who gets impacted, and what you'll learn today. Then we'll build a simple method to estimate your change, verify it safely, and avoid the traps that show up every time benefits shift. Here's what's at risk: your budget, your medical costs, your bills, and your peace of mind. Even a small monthly change can ripple into rent, groceries, prescriptions, and whether you dip into savings. And if you're planning your claim date, the wrong assumption can lock in the wrong amount for years. Stay to the end, because I'm going to reveal the small detail most people miss that decides your true raise, not the headline. Quick attention reset. Don't guess. Don't rely on a friend's number. And don't trust a random post. Your increase is personal, and it depends on your benefit type, your history, and what's being deducted. Two people can hear the same news and see totally different changes in their deposit. So we're going to focus on what you can confirm, what you can estimate, and what you should double-check through official channels. Let's start with the core idea. Social Security payments move for a few common reasons. Sometimes it's an annual adjustment meant to help benefits keep up with rising costs. Sometimes it's a recalculation after earnings records get updated or corrected. And sometimes your gross benefit goes up, but your net deposit barely moves because deductions rise at the same time. That difference between gross and net is the first place confusion sneaks in. Gross is the benefit amount before anything is taken out. Net is what lands in your bank after things like medical premiums or optional tax withholding. And the small detail most people miss is usually sitting right there, the line that shows what got deducted and why. Here's the method I want you to use because it keeps you in control. You're going to look at your last payment and your next payment side by side. Then you'll separate what changed into two buckets: the benefit itself and the deductions. If the benefit increased but deductions increased too, you didn't get cheated, you got a different net result. Pause with me for a second, because this is where scammers and rumor channels make their money. Anytime there's talk of a historic raise, fake agents pop up and try to help you get it. They'll say you need to confirm your identity, pay a fee, or click something to unlock the increase. You never need to pay to receive an automatic benefit adjustment, and you should never share verification codes with anyone. And let's make scam safety crystal clear, because it's part of protecting your increase. Never share one-time passcodes, even if the caller sounds professional and knows your name. Never click unknown links in texts or emails about your benefits, even if they look official. Never trust caller ID because it can be faked. If you're unsure, hang up and call back using the official number from your own documents. Now, what are you actually going to learn in this video? You'll learn how increases are usually applied, how to estimate what your increase could look like, and how to confirm it safely. You'll learn how Medicare-related deductions can change your net deposit, and you'll learn how to avoid the 5 most common mistakes that cause panic, missed money, or bad decisions. Attention reset. If you only remember one thing so far, remember this: a bigger headline doesn't automatically mean a bigger deposit. Your deposit is a math problem. Benefit amount minus deductions equals what you live on. And in a moment, we'll open that math up with 2 simple examples so you can see it in real life. Before we do examples, let's talk about timing, because timing is where people get tripped up. Many beneficiaries don't all get paid on the same day, and changes may appear on your next scheduled payment. Some updates show up in a notice first, then in the deposit after that. So if you're expecting a change and you don't see it yet, the right move is to verify your schedule and your notice, not to panic. Here's the first real-life example, with easy math, and it's only an example. Let's say your current monthly benefit is $1,750 gross, and an adjustment increases it by 3%. 3% of $1,650 is $4,950, so your new gross would be about $1,699.50. But if a deduction rises by $20 at the same time, your net deposit only rises by about $29.50, and that's the raise you feel. Hold that thought, because this is exactly where people say, they promised me more. They're not lying, they're just mixing gross and net in their head. And the tiny line most people miss is the deduction line that explains why the deposit doesn't match the headline. Later, I'll show you how to find and read that line without needing a finance background. Here's example number 2. Using a household scenario, again as a simple illustration. Say one person in the home receives $2,300 gross, and the other receives $1,100 gross. That's $3,400 gross coming in each month before deductions. If the combined gross rises by 2% in a given adjustment, that's $68 more gross. But the net depends on what's deducted from each benefit. Now let's do the what it means part, because numbers without meaning don't help you pay bills. A $30 net increase might cover a phone plan, a prescription copay, or a couple of grocery trips if you're careful. A $70 net increase might cover a utility bill bump or help you build a tiny emergency cushion. The goal isn't to fantasize. The goal is to plan so your money stops surprising you. Do you want me to make a quick follow-up where you can plug in your own numbers with me so you can estimate your net change in under 5 minutes? Now, let's unpack how to figure out your increase without relying on anyone else's numbers. Step 1 is to locate your most recent benefit information from official communication or your personal account access. Step 2 is to identify 3 items: your gross benefit, your medical premium deduction if you have one, and any tax withholding if you elected it. Step 3 is to compare that to the next payment or the next notice so you can isolate what actually changed. Attention, reset. You don't need perfect details to get clarity. Even a rough comparison can tell you which category moved, benefit amount or deductions. And once you know which category moved, you know what questions to ask next. That alone reduces stress, because confusion is what makes people vulnerable to scams and bad advice. Now let's hit the myth versus truth moment, because this myth spreads fast. Myth: if there's a raise, everyone gets the same extra amount. Truth: adjustments are often applied as a percentage to your existing benefit, so 2 people can both get an adjustment and get different dollar increases. And even if the gross adjustment is similar, different deductions can make the net deposit look completely different. Here's another truth that helps you make better decisions. Your benefit type matters. Retirement benefits, disability benefits, survivor's benefits, and supplemental programs can follow different rules in how changes are reflected. So, if you're hearing one-size-fits-all claims, treat them as a starting point for questions, not a final answer. And yes, that means you may need to verify through official channels rather than taking anyone's word for it. Let's circle back to that small detail most people miss, because it shows up in a sneaky place. Many people look at the deposit only, but the real story is in the breakdown: what your benefit amount is, and what was taken out before it hit your bank. That breakdown is the difference between "I think I got shorted" and "I know exactly what happened." Now let's talk about Medicare-related deductions in a careful, general way. For many people, a medical premium is deducted from the Social Security payment automatically. If that premium changes, it can offset part of your benefit increase. In some cases, certain protections can limit how much your net check is reduced by premium changes, but those protections don't apply the same way to every situation. Attention, reset. This is not a reason to fear the increase. It's a reason to read the full picture. You're not just tracking your benefit, you're tracking your household cash flow. And when you understand the moving parts, you can plan instead of reacting. Now let's talk taxes without throwing a bunch of hard numbers at you. Depending on your total income picture, a portion of your benefits may be subject to federal income tax. Some people choose voluntary withholding from their monthly payment so they don't owe later. If you're near a threshold in your overall income, even a modest increase could change how much you owe. So it's worth verifying with official guidance, or a qualified professional. And this is where the consequence, confusion, clarity, action rhythm really matters. Consequence. You assume the raise is free money and spend it in your head. Confusion. The deposit doesn't match what you expected, so you feel anxious or angry. Clarity. Gross and net are different, and deductions and taxes can shift. Action. Compare your breakdown, confirm through official channels, and update your budget based on the net. Do you want a quick template you can keep by your desk to track gross, deductions, and net so you never feel blindsided again? Now we need to talk about people who haven't started collecting yet because this group is often overlooked. If you're planning to file soon, the conversation isn't just, is there an increase? It's, how do I choose a claim timing that fits my life, my health, and my cash needs? Because the decision of when you start can have long-term impact, and news headlines can tempt you to rush. Here's the safe way to think about it. If you claim earlier, you generally lock in a lower monthly amount compared to waiting, but you start receiving sooner. If you wait longer, you generally receive more each month, but you cover more months without that income. There isn't one perfect answer for everyone, which is exactly why you don't want to base your choice on someone else's raise story. Attention reset. If you're feeling pressured to act fast, that's your signal to slow down. Scammers pressure you. Bad advice pressures you. Good planning gives you room to verify and choose. Now let's get into the common mistakes, and I'm going to be kind here, because these are normal mistakes. Mistake 1 is only checking the bank deposit and never reading the breakdown, which hides the real reason your net changed. Mistake 2 is assuming a friend's increase equals your increase, even though your benefit history and deductions may be different. Mistake 3 is believing anyone who says you must apply or pay to receive an automatic adjustment, because that's how fraud starts. Mistake 4 is ignoring mail or notices because they look boring, when the notice is often where the explanation lives. Mistake 5 is calling the first number you're given in a text or email, instead of using the official number you already have from your own documents. Mistake 6 is making a big budget decision before you've confirmed whether the increase is gross or net. And mistake 7, which hurts quietly, is not updating your plan for medical costs and taxes when your income changes. Do you want me to do a dedicated video on how to spot a fake Social Security call in under 30 seconds, based on the exact tricks they use? Now I want to do an if this is you moment, because different viewers are in different seasons of life. If this is you, you're already receiving benefits and you're living month to month, so even a small change matters and you need certainty. If this is you, you're helping a parent or grandparent manage benefits, and you want to keep them safe from phone scams and fake notices. If this is you, you're close to filing, and you're trying to decide when to start, but you're afraid of making an irreversible mistake. Attention reset. Wherever you are on that list, you're not behind. You're here, you're paying attention, and that is the advantage. Most people don't look until something goes wrong. You're looking before the problem gets expensive. Now let's pay off that open loop in a practical way. The small detail most people miss is not a secret formula hidden in a policy book. It's the plain breakdown of your payment, your benefit amount, and the deductions that come out before you see the money. When you find that breakdown, you stop arguing with rumors and start reading your own facts. And here's how to use that detail to protect yourself. When someone tells you everyone is getting hundreds more, you can calmly say, "Show me the net, not the headline." When someone tries to scare you into verifying your identity over the phone, you can say, "I'll verify through official channels only." And when you feel that rush of excitement, you can channel it into a plan. Confirm, calculate, then adjust your budget. Now for a do this today mini checklist, written as normal sentences, so you can actually follow it. Pull up your most recent payment record and write down your gross amount, your net deposit, and what was deducted. Then check your next scheduled payment and compare it the same way, so you can see what changed and by how much. Finally, tell yourself out loud that you will not share codes, you will not click unknown links, and you will not trust caller ID, no matter how urgent the message sounds. Attention reset. You don't need to solve everything in one sitting. You just need to take the next correct step. Clarity beats speed when it comes to benefits. and the next correct step is always verification, not reaction. Let's recap the clearest points in a way you can repeat to yourself. A raise can show up as a change in your gross benefit, but your net deposit depends on deductions. Two people can get the same adjustment and still see different dollar changes. The safest way to know your real increase is to compare your own before and after breakdown using official information, not hearsay. And one more time, because it's that important, here's the final version of the open loop. The detail that decides your real raise is the net effect after deductions, not the headline number. When you look at that line item breakdown, confusion disappears. And when confusion disappears, scammers lose their power and you keep control of your money. Here's my final warning, and I'm saying it calmly on purpose. Any message that pressures you to act immediately, share a code, or click something to unlock money is a danger sign, even if it sounds official. Protect your identity like it's cash, because once it's taken, it's hard to undo. But here's the hopeful part. You don't need special access to stay safe and informed. You just need a simple process and the discipline to verify. Do you want me to keep tracking these benefit changes with you, so you always know what's real, what's next, and what to do before your next deposit hits?